Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band From Ringside.
Tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast, we have your Hell in a Cell recap. Cody is out. CM Punk is out. He didn't relinquish his belt, though. We have the BOSJ finals. We have your Dominion predictions, and we also have AEW Dynamite. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast.
Damn, for us, it's rare when AEW comes in last.
That's for sure. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band From Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Pissing on the car seats, flatten the heels. And sitting to my left, as always, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, shit. Vice never fails. That's about to say, quick story about Vice, because I know people always ask me about the AKAs or whatever. When I saw him last, he has AKAs on his phone. I mean, anytime he gets an AKA idea, he puts it on his phone and then checks it off whenever he gives it, whenever you use the AKA. So I almost challenge people to, from this moment on, see if we come up with a repeat AKA. Because, I mean, this dude has got a little Rolodex of fucking nicknames. It's sick.
If we've had a repeat, it is because he didn't get a hold of me that week, and I did something that I didn't realize that we had done before. I mean, this is, well, Jason, what episode is this?
Ask me to, let's try this again. Allow me to ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Back Pre-Con Podcast, Volume 260, Chapter 3, Verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels, it's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, 260, 52 times 5. 260 episodes in the can as we speak. I've always said it. I never thought we'd get past 6 months, much less 5 years. So congratulations, boys. Welcome back. The car is in one piece. I tried to put it in reverse to take the mileage off. Unfortunately, that did not work. But the car is in one piece, ready to go for this week's episode.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beers. Zach Bowman, what's going on, Two Beer?
Oh man, so busy. It is good to be back though. I really appreciate everyone listening to the podcast, even though we're more unknown than the second verse of God damn, ruined my joke by forgetting Jericho's theme song. Judas. Second verse of Judas. Sorry.
We're off to a rousing start. Bring those two guest hosts back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, big shout out to Diesel and Brett. Thanks for helping me out last week. It was a good pod. I
listened to a lot of it. It was a great job, guys. We appreciate you guys.
I said it had some BFR vibes on the our text thread or whatever. So yeah, it was good to have. It was the first time I think in 260 episodes that we had some other people that wasn't a combination of the original core four. I'm throwing Tinder in there as the core four, however you want to call it. So yeah, it was different.
You forgot about Lucha Chris.
Okay,
yeah,
you're there.
Weird. It was kind of
well, the core four is
like, sure. Like what it started off with. Yes. I listened to it. There were some BFR vibes on there. It seems like those guys got the vibe of BFR. I thought it was very well done, and nice job quarterbacking it, too.
Hey, I learned from the best.
What were you going to say, Zach?
Well, it's kind of like watching another dude bang your wife. So if you're into that, you know.
Okay.
What he means to say is that he jerked off listening to it.
I was just getting ready to say, the lack of dick and cum jokes, I'm sorry, Jubier. I just can't do it like you do, so I'll leave it up.
That's Diesel's job, dude. Diesel, you got to come through with some cum jokes, man.
No, man, no. I told him before the pod started, I said, look, do it the way you want to do it. Don't think you got to be Bill. Don't think you got to be Two Beer. Just be yourself. And I think it came off really, really well.
I'm replaceable. Two Beer ain't. We are coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. It is a gorgeous night out here right now. Not too hot, not too cool. It's a nice early summer night. I just want to say I had a great time last weekend at Fish. Lucha Chris was giving me a lot of grief on Facebook and Twitter about Fish, about how fish people are dorks. And listen, I totally get it, but I'm not going to apologize for getting my wig blown back by a band that I really enjoy and doing some mushrooms. And I'm telling you, whoo boy, those Saturday and Sunday night shows were fantastic. Hit me up on my DMs if you feel like knowing more.
Also, all wrestling people are dorks too. It's just some are cooler than others.
I know I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Fish fandom and wrestling fandom is very similar, is because it's a very closed group that is inclusive if you want to be a part of it. But everybody there, most people there are there to have a good time. But if you start getting into the granular arguments about stuff, everybody disagrees all the time, and everybody thinks that the other person is wrong. Oh, I like this jam better, or whatever. It's very, very similar, and I know that says something about me that I'm not willing to dissect right now. I just maybe years later, but Zach and I didn't even get to talk about CM Punk winning the championship before CM Punk got hurt. I mean, we really took the week off on a fucking massive week.
I was thinking to myself on the way over here. I was like, man, it's a good thing a lot of shit happened this week, because otherwise last week you motherfuckers be just pissed.
A massive week that we missed last week with the Double or Nothing pay-per-view and MJF's promo and Hell in the Cell. But we're going to keep moving forward, because that's what we're going to do. We're not going to look backwards. We're going to look forward. And with that being said, let's get to that one count.
1, 2, 3.
Your call, JC.
Well, I was going to say, I'll keep it the way we normally do it. Let's do it chronologically. Hell in a Cell was Sunday night in Chicago. Chicago's almost be in the epicenter of the professional wrestling universe as of late, but neither here nor there. Hell in a Cell on Sunday night, main event being the physical Hell in a Cell match with Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Now, I didn't know much about what was happening with Cody until late Saturday night, where rumors started to float where he was injured. I know Two Beer had said something about him being injured, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, getting into a brawl with Seth on Monday Night Raw. So apparently that plus him working out exasperated said injury, and he tore the peck off the bone, or whatever the case may be. So think like Triple H in Saudi Arabia. So this is him coming into this match. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if it's this bad, then maybe they don't have this match. It was 7 matches with Cody versus Seth. They added on Moss versus Corbin on SmackDown, so that would be the 7th match. I'm thinking you got 6 matches. You just can move the women to the main event, make it work out, get Cody healthy, get him back ready to roll. Lo and behold, Cody Rhodes comes out, and I see him. I'm watching him pretty close, because I didn't know which arm it was coming into the match, which was physically hurt. And then I saw him try to, on the American Nightmare song, when he goes, whoa, and he tries to put both arms up, and he only put the left arm up. I was like, oh, okay, so this is bad. So he finally gets into the ring, and they do the introductions, and he takes his jacket off. It was pretty gnarly. Okay, I'm not usually squeamish about things like this, but it was uncomfortable to look at, to the point where now I was like, okay, we probably shouldn't be doing this. My first concern is more so about Cody. I get it. I've had arguments about this online basically for 24 to 48 hours after the fact. The argument
I saw the remnants of some of those.
Jesus Christ. Oh, you can't do more damage than you already have. Okay, yeah, to the pectoral, but God forbid he's got 2 more legs, another arm, a head, whatever the case may be.
That is, not to cut you off, but that is the point that I was thinking, because I thought that your point was well taken, that if you favor one thing, then you're going to hurt something else. Like, that's what athletes do a lot. That's what football players do a lot. That's what baseball players do a lot. And your point was well taken by me. After seeing it like, you know, you know how Twitter shows you something from like a day ago. Like, I was just flipping through it. Go ahead.
But neither here nor there. I thought the match itself was, considering you had a one-arm Cody coming into it, I thought they did a lot of things very well on the fly. I really would like to see this match with a healthy Cody, but I think a part of the magic of the match itself was the fact that he wasn't healthy, and they pulled off a bunch of spots where the bull rope is the biggest one that comes to mind, where I was thinking to myself, no, he's not getting ready to do this bull rope. I mean, what the fuck?
That was smart.
It was smart in the sense that it kept the Hell in the Cell mystique going, if that makes sense. We've always kind of said it was Heck in the Cell or whatever. And then I'm not saying it was a bunch of blood or color in this bad boy, but it was a bunch of spots where it felt like a Hell in the Cell match. And this made it feel like a Hell in the Cell match. Callbacks to Dusty, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, like I said, when I first saw it, I didn't necessarily want him to wrestle. At the end of the day, it's arguably the WWE match of the year so far. Cody Rhodes did. There is no reason for him to go out there, and he did it anyway. So I have to tip hat to Cody Rhodes. You got to tip hat to Seth Rollins. He protected Cody Rhodes, even though there were spots where the kendo stick was a big one, where he really went into the exposed area and dug into it. Granted, you can't do any more damage, but, I mean, that motherfucker still got to hurt. So, in that sense, I give credit to Seth because he told a line between being the heel character but also trying to work safe with a one-arm Cody Rhodes. WWE gets very little props around here, and I think a lot of it's justifiable, but you got to give it flowers for this one because I thought, like I said, easily the match of the night of the card and arguably the WWE match of the year.
Two Beer, what you think?
Oh, man, absolute all-time classic match. I'll remember that match for the rest of my life. I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like, we knew they were capable of really good matches, and that was obvious here, too. They managed to put together a great match on top of the gruesome injury, but the injury just makes it stand out. And Cody's a goddamn legend. Like, I don't care. This, like, kind of cemented him. We already knew he was willing to do a lot. And, yeah, just total hats off to the dude. I don't know if it was a good idea or not. Probably not. But he gave people what they were asking for. And, I mean, when you think about it, the story, it's almost, like, fortuitous. It sucks, but, like, this dude can come back and win the Royal Rumble as the biggest babyface since Cena. Like, goddamn Cody Rhodes. It's bonkers.
Yeah, he made himself, and I think the friend of the show, Mike Gonzalez, said it best on, I think I saw him say it on Twitter, where he said, it's one of those things that the decision pre-match is so affected by how the aftermatch thing goes. It's like you can have all the discussions that you want before the match, whether or not he should have gone out there. But the fact is, he went out there and he brought home a classic. Just an absolute classic. I mean, that I don't think that was their best match of the trilogy. I think that WrestleMania was a better match. But in terms of, I don't know, I think that people are going to remember both those matches quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they're both two legendary, they're both two great matches. Now, what Cody has managed to do is defy all expectations. He quit WWE of his own volition. He went out, traveled the world, did ROH, did NJPW, decided to start his own company, got it going, and you can say whatever you want about who the main driver was. You can say Tony Khan, you can say the Bucks, you can say Omega. Cody Rhodes was the face of that company when that company was getting off the ground. And anybody that's trying to say anything different, that's revisionist history. He went on AEW, and then he decided to come back to WWE, debuted at WrestleMania, had a tremendous 4+ star match at WrestleMania, your mileage may vary on that. And then became WWE, treated him like a massive fucking babyface, like a huge fucking deal coming back. And then he has this match. I don't care. I don't think it was makeup. It looked like a real injury. I'm not saying he's not actually injured. I'm saying they might have tried to embellish it. And even if they did, fuck it. Who cares, man? It's a work and a shoot. He managed to make himself a bigger babyface with a bigger, touchstone win in that moment. And now he's going away for a couple months. I hope they take him off TV. I hope they take him off TV. And when he comes back, he's going to be bigger than he was at WrestleMania. He's going to come back fucking huge because that's how legendary of a match it was. I watched that match hungover as fuck from, let's just say, booze and substances. And I watched that match with my headphones on the drive home Monday morning. Now listen, you guys, because I was getting text messages from you guys, and I didn't see him, and I forget when I responded to him. It was a weekend, you know.
I know.
But I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And then I was like, wait a minute, did he get injured during the match? And somebody, I think Zach responded, no, he was injured before the match he came into it. And I was like, well, I got to watch this as soon as I can. And I watched it the next morning, and I was like, and then I watched it again this afternoon. And it's a tremendous match. It was the WWE match of the year, no doubt, except for maybe Cody Seth at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's crazy because think about what would have happened if he wouldn't have done the match. Like, and he was out for, say, 6 months with this injury. Even though he had that amazing start, I think a lot of people would have shit on him, and he wouldn't have this. He still get a pop when he came back, because everybody does when they come back from injury. But now it's like people are like going to be salivating for him to come back from injury. Like, people are going to want to see this guy again.
Is it possible to say that his act with the bleach blonde hair and the stupid neck tattoo and his whole interest and everything, is it possible to say that this was always destined to work better in WWE because it's just so white meat babyface? Is that fair to say? What do you think, Zach?
Maybe. I know that, Cena ended up getting pretty 50-50 as far as, like, babyfaceness, because, the Let's Go Cena sucks. But I think that was probably a product of his booking. They've booked Cody Rhodes so far in a short time, like, phenomenally. I mean, the dude beat Seth Rollins 3 times in a row. That is not something that you do. Seth's one of their top guys, and he's pretty protected. And I mean, Cody put him over, mostly clean. Or Seth put him over mostly clean 3 times. So
I've heard.
And the guy he lost to him, he's got one arm. Like, the dude beat him with one arm.
And I know
that's a thing that I was kind of like.
Seth got his heat back the next night, though.
Quickly.
And what I was going to say was that it's hindsight being 2020, and I knew who had won, and I knew the whole story when I watched it. But what I didn't know was that Seth came out in polka dots. And that seems
this motherfucker ain't shit.
This seems to be a bit under talked about, because there was no way Seth was going to win in polka dots.
No.
There was just
you're asking for everybody to really hate on you.
Even with Cody coming out
one arm,
he was never going to win in polka dots.
No. It was a total shot. It was a total shot against Dusty.
That is such a funny
I saw it and I was like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" I was like, "I can't even see you ain't shit." I was like, "Okay, I want you to lose now."
Incredible character.
Yeah, I love
Seth is firing on all cylinders. He lost all 3 of these matches, and I think he looks better
coming out of it. Way better coming out.
That's a pro.
Okay,
that's some pro shit, man.
Like I said, both guys deserve flowers on this. I will say this about the babyface portion of Cody Rhodes. I was always curious to see if he would have stayed in AEW, how his heel run would have went if he agreed to it. Obviously, I think that's a major sticking point with, I guess, one of the reasons why he left. Is there's a top 5 answers on the board.
You buy that, though?
I think there's something. No, I think there is something to it. I don't think it's the main reason, but I think there's something to it because Sammy and Tay Conti have basically picked up that Cody storyline or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying it has everything to do with it. I think it has something to do with it. If they never put that step on Cody, then I think easily he could have been, at the very least, challenging for the AEW title. Neither here nor there. I'll say this. Number one, I don't think it's going to be a few months. I was listening to an interview on the radio. I guess it was Monday morning. A doctor was basically diagnosing this. He said 3 to 4 months, he could come back with light activity and light wrestling. 6 months feels like the full recovery stage where he can come back and do whatever he wants to. 6 months from now is Royal Rumble. Okay, so if you wanted to do it like you did with John Cena and have him come back, like Cena did in the Garden, come back at number 30, wins the Rumble, eliminates Triple H, he goes to WrestleMania, okay. That's the way you can probably get Cody to Roman Reigns. If Roman Reigns is the champ at that point, I got $20 that says he is with Joey, so I'm going with the assumption that I'm going to win said bet at WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns is the champ.
Can I get in on that?
No, man. You can get side action. We'll talk about that in a second. If Cody wins the Rumble and Roman is still the champ, which I think he still is, I'm not sure if it's going to be 2 championships or 1. Doesn't matter. That's the best way you can get it from this point moving forward and make that a match reality if you don't do Rock versus Roman.
Zach, any final thoughts on Cody Seth 3?
Yeah, I mean, they delivered.
Nah, they delivered. I guess the next best match is probably the women's match, the curtain jerker.
No doubt. Incredible.
I love the psychology at the end of the match where Becky thinks that she finally has, outsmarted everybody and gets in the ring to pin Asuka, and Bianca comes behind her and pulls her out and gets the win. Unfortunately, Asuka, eats the pin, but somebody has to in this scenario. I like that fact. I thought the match itself was really good. If there was a scenario where you had to take Cody and Seth off the card, I would have made this match the Hell in a Cell match. I think there's been enough heat between Becky and Bianca to make this warranted a Hell in a Cell match. You can throw Asuka into that mix, and it's still been good. Neither here nor there. It was still triple threat, so there was no rules involved. I guess my only problem, if I have a problem with it, is Asuka eating the pin. Like I said, I know someone has to, but I'm just kind of I get the storyline that Asuka's going to be, dogging Becky Lynch from this moment forward. Any chance that Becky gets to win a title, Asuka's going to be there to kind of stop that shit. I just wish they'd book Asuka a little more NXT-ish, being the killer versus being this dancing, entertaining character that some people like, to each his own. Me personally, like I said, when I wanted to come back, I wanted to come back with a vengeance, and you could still do that and, usurp Becky at the top spot. But like I said, neither here nor there.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, it was definitely, if not for Cody and Seth being so wild, it would have been, maybe the best match on a show. Very often the best match on any WWE show. It was good. Really good triple threat, and the right person won. And, I thought it was really well wrestled. I didn't get the chance to watch it till the next day, and everybody was talking about it. Because I jumped in, the show late Sunday after trying to get some Stranger Things. And, it was a
are you
good match.
Are you talking about? Nah, never mind.
Not that Stranger Things. That'd be.
I didn't.
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to get Stranger Things in.
I didn't watch this match until today. I read about how good it was. It was better than I thought it would be. I loved this match. This was, what this reminded me of? 2 of my favorite triple threat matches of all time.
Oh yeah,
Cena, Rollins, Lesnar, and Triple H, Benoit, Michaels. It reminded me of that because there was never almost never, it never stopped moving. It was all three were involved the entire time. And that is why I love triple threat matches. This is what a triple threat match should be. It shouldn't be one person selling for 3 minutes outside the ring while two people fight the whole time. This was all three of them were involved the entire time. And I got to say, Bianca Belair is the newest addition to the top of the card when it comes to the women's division.
It's the horsewomen, Bianca.
And Bianca
Asuka
was unbelievable in this match. Unbelievable. Selling the leg, having a hard time getting Becky up at the end. She has to be so fucking strong, man. She's really something. She's on her knees having chicks on her back and then standing up with them on her back.
Yeah, that's
and then KOD and shit. This match was, for me, 4.75 stars. I fucking loved it.
Jesus Christ.
Could have been a 5-star match. It was on any other card, it would have been the best match of the night.
Yeah. If Cody didn't come out and basically, beat Seth with one arm, then I would totally agree with that. From there, you had Lashley versus Omos and MVP in a handicap match. Neither here nor there. That does very little for me at this point. Mustafa Ali and Austin Theory, I thought had a pretty good match. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but Theory went over there. KO versus Ezekiel. I love the fact that KO looked into the camera when he was getting ready to pin Ezekiel. Was like, Elias. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, KO. Do your thing, man. Call this motherfucker out and make this thing happen. And then, Madcap Moss. I forgot about that. That was the late addition to the card. Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin. It looks like maybe Happy Corbin might be out for a little bit after Madcap Moss gave the receipt back to Corbin, putting the chair around his neck and giving it a nice little stomp. So I'll be curious to see how long Corbin is out. He should at least be out. He shouldn't be on SmackDown on Friday. Now, from that point, if you want to take it 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, knock yourself out. Judgment Day versus Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan. Obviously, we could talk more about this. Well, actually, let's just talk about it now. I guess the repercussions of Cody Rhodes being hurt is now Raw was missing a top babyface. So, obviously, on Monday Night Raw, Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day a couple weeks too late for my predictions, but neither here nor there. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of Finn Balor's acceptance speech, they turn on Edge, and Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Finn Balor turn on Edge, basically destroy him, throw him on the table, blah, blah, blah. Joey made a really good point, and I didn't think of it until we talked about it today, is that Cody Rhodes was the top Raw babyface, and now with him out, you need a new top babyface. So I guess I'll ask this around. Did you watch Monday Night Raw?
I watched the important parts.
Okay, so did Finn Balor turning on Edge surprise you?
Yes, and I thought it was really smart of Monday Night Raw to have a countdown, because when I was fast-forwarding through it on Tuesday,
blah, blah, blah.
Well, let's get to this. Well, it's like I wanted to see Cody's promo, and I wanted to see what happened afterwards. I missed all the spoilers on Monday night because I fell asleep at like 6:30. No, not really, but I fell asleep pretty early, and I wasn't trying to watch Raw. When I fast-forwarded through it on Tuesday, I watched the Cody and Seth part, and then I wanted to watch who the new person was going to be. When they flipped on Edge, I was surprised. I was also surprised at how pleasantly surprised I was. I was like, yeah, you know what? I like this a little better. And the reason I like it a little better.
Really?
Yeah. The reason I like it a little better, and the reason why I'm not that disappointed that they decide to pull the eject button on the Edge heel thing so much, is because this is a great spot for Finn Balor. the Finn Balor needed something. Finn Balor's been criminally underused for a very long time. And for Finn Balor to have a heel turn on the main roster with a faction by turning on Edge, I'm all for it.
May I play devil's advocate?
Sure.
I think
Demon's advocate.
Demon's advocate. Okay. I think Edge is the better call because ultimately someone has to talk. Finn Balor's biggest, criticism, for lack of a better term, is that he doesn't cut a very good promo. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley obviously being the other two. I'm not sure who can basically build a story in an angle perspective on the mic. Edge is really good on the stick.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point. What I would say is we've never even seen Finn Balor as a heel.
NXT.
Okay, how long ago was that? 6 years? 5 or 6 years?
No, he came back with NXT and was like the heel for like a hot second. That was when Cross came in afterwards. They had a Fatal 4 match for the title.
I am fine with Finn Balor trying to cut heel promo. I would rather see Finn Balor in this spot than Edge.
Two Beer, what do you think?
I was just surprised it seemed sudden because I kind of feel like they just started this Judgment Day thing, especially when you're very busy and the weeks go by and you don't even watch the product. Like, it seems very sudden. I feel like they just started Judgment Day the other day in my world. But that was the biggest surprise for me. I mean, it makes sense. Edge is great, so he'll be fine no matter which one he's in. And I'm kind of leaning Bill. Your logic makes sense. At least Finn's like the leader of a heel faction. But Judgment Day kind of seemed like one of the more interesting things on that show. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, fair enough. I thought Madcap Moss was fairly impressive in his match against Happy Corbin, at least in the sense of shedding the funny portion of the gimmick, trying to be a little more serious. He looks the part. I just think it's kind of a little Goldberg-ish to me, but that's just me.
That happened at the pay-per-view?
It was. They added it on as a 7th match.
I didn't see it.
No holds barred.
I assume Madcap Moss went over.
Madcap Moss went over. He put a chair around Corbin's neck and stomped on it to give him the receipt for a couple weeks ago on SmackDown.
I am pro Madcap Moss. I am looking forward. I think Madcap Moss is kind of a dumb name. Like, go back to calling him Riddick Moss. I know they took the suspenders off of him.
Thank God.
Well, at least it gave him a little something.
Okay, but when he came out on Friday night, like I said, he looked like Goldberg to me. I don't think you can go back to the suspenders at that point.
To me, he kind of looks like a generic wrestler. Like if you saw him on the street and you were like, that guy's a professional wrestler, you'd be like, holy shit, yeah, that guy's really well put together. But there's nothing really that stands out about his look. That's why I kind of like the suspenders. I mean, I didn't like the goofy shit. Like that's definitely a mid-card, if not lower mid-card type of gimmick. But I mean, yeah,
he looks the part though. I think that's the suspenders, quote unquote.
Bottom line is, I'm pro Madcap Moss, and I like that. I like his work, and it looks like he's willing to do anything, which is a good thing to be in the WWE.
Yeah, no shit. Outside of that, I can't think of anything Hell in a Cell I want to talk about. We kind of touched on the couple things on Raw. I think we're good.
All right, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 counts. We'll go with AEW Dynamite. And
I think we should probably start with Rampage, though, right?
Oh, Rampage, yeah. I forgot. I did watch Rampage, but these things happen so fast. I saw, what's his name, Trevor Dame, which is a good follow on Twitter. He said, like, every episode of Dynamite is like Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. And he was so right. The shit just goes and goes and goes, and it's, like, so fast.
I like the video suck. Oh, wait a minute. We're not talking about the video.
Well, the big thing that happened on Rampage is that CM Punk said that he's hurt.
Oh, yeah. It just seems like so long ago.
So what we need to... Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that can be the
cold-blooded
discussion. CM Punk relinquishes the title, doesn't relinquish
You
the
pushed
title.
the
I
button.
think my biggest takeaway there was essentially the confusion. Like, it's like literally the most important thing that you have going on in your entire company is CM Punk just wins the title, and now what's going to happen next? And like, I feel like they totally botched the delivery of that. But I mean, his promo was good. Doesn't seem like he'll be out that long. I think it builds anticipation for a match. I'm kind of glad they're doing an interim championship instead of just putting the world championship on ice. So yeah, what do you guys think?
If I'm not mistaken, this happened when he dove into the crowd after he won the title, correct?
Or the springboard, whichever. It looked like he injured it Wednesday night.
Okay. Let's say, for the sake of argument, it happens in the match against Hangman Page. He wins the title. He comes out on Wednesday night and dives into the crowd. That's just foolishness. You are a brand.
Yeah, but it didn't happen during the match, though. It happened on Wednesday.
Okay. So now even more so to my point.
The Grammatica effect.
Dude, sit your narrow ass
That's
down.
Martin Grammatica.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's what I'm saying. Sit your narrow ass down. You are now the AEW champion. You had this incredible story, whether people liked it or not.
It's not his fault. That's a fluke.
Yes, it is his fault, Bill. He decided he wanted to jump his dumb ass into the crowd to celebrate.
He does it all the time, though.
Look, the first time he did it, I remember him doing it, and I was like, look, I would almost willing to go back and grab the... He barely made it the first time. That should have been your cue. You barely made it the first time. I get it. You're hype. You are excited. Man, do a lap and do some high five with the fans. Don't jump your narrow ass into the fucking fans and get yourself hurt. You're the brand
Hold
now.
on a second. But for all those people that were talking shit to you on Twitter when you said that Cody shouldn't wrestle his match because he could get hurt and it could happen, and everybody was like, everybody came after you after the match, and they were like, but it didn't happen, so it's a bad take. Just say that I had a bad take. For all that, you could say, how many times has somebody kind of tried to celebrate in the crowd and not gotten hurt? You're just you're just blaming the result. Like, it's really, otherwise we should all just fucking sit in car seats all the time.
When he did it the first time, I said he shouldn't be doing it.
Okay. All right.
I never thought to get mad about how he got injured. I never even thought about
it.
Look,
I'm not mad.
You're
about
blaming him, though. I mean, it's not his fault.
That's self-inflicted wounds, man. I can't feel sympathy for self-inflicted wounds.
But anybody can get hurt at any time doing barely anything.
I agree
in
with
professional wrestling.
I agree with that. So
Damian
why
Priest
are you
put Edge through a table with the razor's edge that looked dangerous as fuck to me, especially considering that Edge is 48 years old or 49 years old with his neck issues. And they did that. Like, if he would have gotten hurt, would you have been like, Damian Priest never should have done that razor's edge through the table? You can't have it both ways. You can't have the Monday morning. You can't be mad because they're Monday morning quarterbacking you, and then Monday morning quarterback CM Punk. That's true. Come on, that's a good point. That's a good point by the Vega Bomber.
You gotta be smarter than that. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit on my couch until I fucking die. I'll never get hurt.
Look, if you want to go out there and speed 95 on the highway and wreck your car, guess what happens? That's on you.
Yeah, but
you decided you wanted to go on the highway and drive recklessly.
But what if you go the speed limit?
CM Punk decided he wanted to do
what if you go the speed limit all the time?
Shit.
What if you go the speed limit all the time and then some weird shit happens, your tire blows out, and you accidentally hit a post? Because that's what happened to CM Punk.
That's some weird shit.
He was going the speed limit. He wasn't doing anything.
How many times do we see motherfuckers driving into the crowd? Very rarely.
Did you say jive into the crowd
yes,
because you're a black guy?
No, I meant to say dive into the crowd, and I said jive into the crowd because I'm trying to say jump, dive, whatever.
It's okay. I speak jive.
I love Airplane. It's a great movie.
All right, so here's my whole thing about it. I didn't want to take up your time, but you were acting a fool. My whole thing about it is if he's hurt, he's hurt. And if he's out for 3 or 4 months because he has to have surgery, he's out for 3 or 4 months because he has to have surgery. But you got to strip him of the belt. Sorry, if you can't defend the belt, you're not champ anymore. And that's a bummer for everybody. But don't have this interim bullshit championship with Jon Moxley versus it's going to be Tanahashi. Are they worried about the lineage of the belt? Is that why they're having this interimship? Because that's garbage. That's so stupid.
Two Beard, you said you liked the interim title.
Really? He did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
No, I prefer that because so there's 2 ways. I mean, like you said, there is the philosophy like Japan does where they just strip the person. Like even if you can't show up for that day, like say,
if you're on the card and you don't show up for whatever reason, it's a title match.
Yeah, you're stripped.
You're stripped of the title.
So that's one way to do it. And then I think for like Tony Khan's logic, it's kind of more in line of like boxing, MMA. He's wanting to do that kind of like more realistic and more modern idea of the interim champion. I don't know. I just like the idea that we're going to have someone at the top who's holding a belt, and in the meantime, it's lurking, even though we would already know this to begin with. If like Moxley just took the title and it wasn't called interim, we know CM Punk's coming back and challenging for that title because he had to relinquish it. So it's just a different way to go about it and to call it.
There's no difference in just saying it's going to be Moxley versus Tanahashi, and then when CM Punk is healthy and he comes back, he's right to the front of the line. That's the way they should have done with Finn Balor. That's the way they should do with CM Punk right now.
I was listening to Tony Khan on Wednesday on the radio, and he basically
chewing his face off. Can you hear him chewing his face off?
It was like, what time was it? So it's like 10:30 Central Standard Time. So I would like to think that he would, dial it down.
He's like trying to get mucus from the back of his sinuses that isn't there.
I was like to say, I'd like to think you'd be down.
I don't know anything about that, guys. Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, we'll move along. He made it akin to UFC. So if the UFC champion gets hurt, you take the next 2 guys, you make an interim champion, and then you have a unification bout. I think ultimately it's more about the unification bout than the interim championship. When whoever wins between Moxley and Tanahashi, and I shouldn't even say that because I should say the winner of Goto and Tanahashi will face Jon Moxley. I shouldn't just assume because I'm getting a little pissed off that people are assuming other things, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Well, Goto's got as good a chance as Kyle O'Reilly had.
Yeah,
it's a puncher's chance.
Can we talk about Goto for a second? I mean, I don't know why everybody's shitting on Goto. I think that Goto is awesome. He can have great matches. He has had great matches. If anybody's watched the G1, yes. Goto usually has an above average G1.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's been in more G1s than anyone else currently wrestling also.
I just think it's fucked up. I think it's fucked up. He might not be the flashiest name, but there's no doubt that at Dominion, Tanahashi and Goto are going to have a great 15 to 20-minute match. There is no doubt about that because Goto can fucking go. And I'm here to stand in defense of Hiroki Goto.
No, that's what I was saying. I don't want to just assume. The reason why we're saying this is because Moxley has talked it up, and now I think he's kind of speaked it into existence. Weirdly, because CM Punk gets hurt, but now it's spoken to existence. You got Moxley, who's probably going to be the interim. He's already into the finals, and then you got Goto versus Tanahashi. We would assume Tanahashi wins, so now you get the match that Moxley's been wanting for so long.
They might give me the bite on a couple near falls, but I'm still excited to watch the match.
No question. And like I said, I think that Goto is going to give Tanahashi all he wants, and I think it's going to be a really good match. Ultimately, like I said, I think we all assume this is going to happen. Go ahead, Two Beer.
I think it would be awesome. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here because I still want to talk about some stuff on Rampage, but I think it would be awesome if Tanahashi beat Moxley, even though I don't think it's likely. That, like, if CM Punk's only going to be gone a couple months, like, how cool would it be that Hiroshi Tanahashi is your goddamn champion? The guy is, like, probably the greatest living wrestler working. Just absolute legend. That'd be cool to me. But depends on how long the injury is.
And we can get into the New Japan stuff that happened on Dynamite a little bit later. That would also be cool to me. I'm not sure if I'm not sure what Tony Khan's is his end game to try to make the best wrestling promotion that he can, or is his end game trying to make the most money he can? Because if the end game is trying to make the best wrestling promotion that he can,
then Tanahashi could be a champion.
Then Tanahashi could be the AEW champion, and that would be really cool. But the thing that kind of fucks me up about it is that when you watch Dynamite and they have these NJPW run-ins and just mentions, and we are getting ahead of ourselves, and we'll go back to Rampage in a second. It just seems like the announcers are trying to provide context as stuff is happening, and it kind of takes away from the excitement about it. Now, listen, that might be just the price of doing business. That might be playing the long game. Like, if you want NJPW to be a viable U.S. promotion, and AEW is working on that goal with NJPW, then these are the things you have to do. Like, there are going to be growing
I don't
pains.
think that a lot of people knew who Aussie Open was.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
And that
No, not at all.
and that's why I think they did it. I'm a totally agreeing with you, but
I know.
It's kind of like, like you said, it's the price of doing business. When Great O'Connor and Jeff Cobb came out,
you have to introduce them at some point.
And I think it's just Tony Khan's booking is, like you said, we didn't start the fire, Zach. It's going quick, and you're just gonna have to keep up. This is one of those times where it needs to be a build up from somewhere else.
Blown away. What else do I have to say?
We didn't start the fire. So that's what I'm saying. A build has to come from
the fuck out of ourselves.
Right. A build has to come from somewhere else, a different angle. If the New Japan, decided they wanted to, tease Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb going to the States, then it makes a little more sense. You know what I'm saying? When I was at Joey's house, I guess that was, whatever pay-per-view it was. It was Double or Nothing. One of the guys there is going to the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that's never seen New Japan. So in this scenario, the guy that strictly watches AEW needs to be introduced on, if he doesn't know who Will Ospreay is, that's Will Ospreay. That's one guy. A lot of people, like I said, don't know Aussie Open. That's two more guys, 3 total. Hanare is definitely not known unless you watch New Japan. So, I mean, at the most, you have 4 guys that are coming in this ring and stomping out FTR and whoever else it was. I can't even about to say, I'm not even going to look at my notes because, like I said, we're going to talk about that in a second. But ultimately, I think that's the reason why you had to do it. The fact that I watch both, it doesn't necessarily, phase me per se. Tuvir, what do you think?
Oh my God. I zoned out there for a second. I'm like reading about Rampage, so I'm going to move on. I have no idea. Sorry, I'm really high.
Jesus Christ.
I was trying to think of You Didn't Start the Fire lyrics and I screwed it all up. But
Google, motherfucker, damn.
This is my fault. Anyway, moving back to Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers. This is why I wanted to bring it back to Rampage.
Right.
This match ruled.
Ruled.
There was other stuff on the show, but this match was awesome. As you would expect. Young Bucks are kind of near their hometown. They don't really go to the West Coast a whole lot. Kind of lame. I'm waiting for them to come to the Pacific Northwest. You guys get triple threat ladder match, tag team ladder match, and a hair versus hair match next week. And
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
They haven't even come. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to bring it back to Young Bucks Lucha Brothers, just to mention it, because
it was a pay-per-view level match.
I know
it
you.
was phenomenal.
I know you wanted to bring it up because Young Bucks are your boys and shit. So go ahead.
He ain't wrong though, man.
I'm
like,
not. Look,
I don't want to agree with him on it, but he's not wrong.
I said it the other day when we were watching Double or Nothing. It's going to be hard for me to say they're the greatest tag team of all time. I'll say they're the most entertaining tag team of all time. That entrance to Double or Nothing before they actually came in.
Bushwhackers.
Please.
Oh my God, when they cosplayed as the Hardys?
No, I'm talking about on Double or Nothing when they did like the little promo and you had the Elvis impersonator. It was like Super Kick Party.
Oh my God,
dude, the whole room for Double or Nothing dumpled over. I was laughing my ass off. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be hard for me to say they're going to be the greatest tag team of all time. I will easily say they're the most entertaining tag team of all time because anytime they come up, they do something that makes me laugh. And that to me is something to be said.
To me.
No. Bell to bell is something different.
I know. I get the distinction. Oh, but there's still that too. There was also a good main event, Scorpio Sky versus Dante Martin. So worth mentioning. Although I think we have a lot more to say about the TNT channel real quick as we go to Dynamite. We can talk about that. But yeah, so Dynamite opens, Independence, Missouri. Pretty sure I know Patriot Pat was there. I don't know if Lucha Chris was there. Maybe I wasn't on Twitter like too much, but I saw some stuff. So, but open with a casino battle royal.
Sound like he was being interviewed by the cops right there. He's like, I don't know if I was on Twitter, but I saw some stuff. Okay, like, not sure what to say, but I saw some stuff.
Okay, I say you ain't gonna ask me about that. Perfect. Let's move along.
No, it's different because if I was getting talked to by a cop, I'd be like, no, I didn't see anything.
That a boy.
You never rat on your friends.
Stop snitching. Cameron.
They say, hey, Henry, look at me. You did good.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut. Bringing it back to Ray Liotta. Oh, man, we're good with the callback. Yeah, that's good shit. But yeah, Casino Battle Royal. Two things about this. One, it is very awesome to put, like, what has traditionally been a pay-per-view level battle royal. Like, feels like a pay-per-view level thing. Sometimes it's been on the buy-in. But it's almost like their version of the Royal Rumble. And they put it on, like, the Open of Dynamite. I was very excited about that. I thought that was, like, super cool. The thing I was not excited about is all of the people that were not in in the battle royal. Like, wouldn't you just be rushing? Because when I was a kid, I actually believed that the Royal Rumble was real, and that like everybody had an opportunity at the championship, and if somebody went over the top rope, like it was like your one day to be a hero. Yeah.
And when he says he was a kid, he means year one of BFR.
Yeah, exactly. And theoretically, in kayfabe, everyone should be clamoring for that spot. Like, every single top guy, and I know a couple of them are out. Brian's out with an injury. Cole's out with an injury. But, like, dude, like, every one of them. Like, Jericho, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, Jungle Boy, Adam Page. The dude was just the champion, and he just lost. Why would
was Jungle Boy not in it?
No.
That's
Wardlow.
Ridiculous.
Dude, it's just like ass boys.
I know that Wardlow. I know that Wardlow wasn't, because Wardlow explained his reasoning later, which was garbage reasoning, like the stupidest reasoning.
So
I'm like, dude, no, you don't say that right afterwards. You just keep on the focus on the title.
Have a mystery person attack Wardlow beforehand.
Yeah, don't say this.
Yeah, or
I hate to say
Wardlow in there and just get thrown out, and then be like, yeah, I didn't win that Royal Rumble, that Battle Royal, but I'm coming for another title.
Right?
You know? Like, you can get thrown out of a Battle Royal.
Yes. You can have 5 guys trying to throw you out. So.
No,
exactly. There's ways to get people over in a Battle Royal, like. And
I thought some of the things that they did sets up, like, you know, future shit down the line. Swerve being the biggest standout.
Swerve was the biggest. Swerve had the most interesting stuff happen to him.
You throw out Keith Lee, I'm like, okay, you know, I get it.
But if we're going to say the Judgment Day breakup was too quick, then the Swerve Keith Lee breakup is
We don't know yet. We don't know
quick.
yet. We don't know yet. Okay, it feels like they're going to flip Swerve to a heel, which he can do. That's not the
He had a
gimmick
heel
portion.
smile on his face.
Exactly. And he threw Darby Allin out. Same concept. So for me, it's like you have matches in between matches. Andrade is kind of one of the biggest disappointments because now you had him out with Rouge a couple weeks ago at Double or Nothing, and then you come back and he's, in the Final Four, he gets eliminated. But like I said, ultimately, I think they got it right with Kyle O'Reilly.
Were you surprised by that win?
Well, when we got to the Final Four, not really.
I was shocked. What was the Final Four?
Andrade
was in there. That's who I thought was going to win.
That's who I thought was going to win.
That's who I thought was going to win, too. Andrade, Kyle O'Reilly, was it Dante Martin? Shit, I had it.
And Daniel Garcia.
Yeah. No. I thought Daniel Garcia was out by that point.
No, not Daniel Garcia. No, somebody else came in that was wearing, I thought it was Daniel Garcia because I was watching it. And I was banged up. I'm like, that's not Daniel Garcia. I was like,
probably Dante Martin.
Who else came in? It might have been Dante Martin. Similar trunks and stuff. And yeah. Anyway.
I'm getting
No. It's goddamn. It was Blackpool Combat Club.
Wheeler.
Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta. That's who it was.
I think that Wheeler Yuta would have been a better choice. I think Andrade would have
had to fight.
Andrade would have certainly been a better choice. Yeah, having Wheeler Yuta fight John Moxley, it was a foregone conclusion that Moxley was going to win anyway, because they're not going to have Wheeler Yuta, they're not going to have Kyle O'Reilly, they're not going to have Andrade. None of these guys are going to fight Tanahashi. Moxley's going to fight Tanahashi, so it was a foregone conclusion. So why use that?
But you could have thrown Jericho in there, and then you had Jericho Moxley on TV. You know what I mean?
Yes, I get it. I would have used it to elevate somebody. If it's a foregone conclusion,
who would you elevate then? I guess there's the better question.
Andrade.
Okay.
I mean, I would have liked Andrade or Jungle Boy. Is who I would have been waiting for.
In that sense, I really wasn't mad about Kyle
Or
O'Reilly,
fucking Keith Lee. Put somebody, just say to your audience that this guy has a chance at the belt. That's not Kyle O'Reilly, who is, let's just put it out there. The guy's got the personality of Driftwood. He's great in the ring. And listen, Moxley O'Reilly was a perfectly good television match that if they were given 5 minutes more could have been a perfectly good pay-per-view match. I love Kyle O'Reilly in the ring. He's got no personality. As a heel, as a babyface, it doesn't matter. He has no personality. I know he lives in the St. Louis area. He might be watching me right now.
You better look around.
Come get me, prick.
These trees are awfully big. I can't necessarily see somebody coming.
That's St. Charles. He can't even see me, man. He's trying to look at us.
I'll just say this.
I was surprised that Kyle O'Reilly won. Very surprised.
I'm not old.
It seemed like the most boring.
But I think that's kind of what they wanted to do in that scenario. As much as I want Andrade to be the next guy, maybe this Atlantic title is the next move for Andrade.
Oh yeah, more titles.
Maybe
it might have been as simple as Moxley saying, "I want to fight O'Reilly."
It could be.
Yes.
And ultimately, the match itself was good.
Yes, it was. He's a great in-ring performer.
But to the defense of Kyle O'Reilly, he did set it up in this backstage promo, which was not very good. But he did say he beat A, B, C, and D to get to this point.
You talking about when he was talking to Regal?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, man. Just charisma dripping off the screen.
He didn't have to. In this scenario, you didn't have to have charisma.
I'm a commentator, all right? I'm not a journalist. I'm not a wrestler. I'm just here to comment.
You know who was dripping with charisma? John Moxley.
Oh, my God. He really was, man.
We had,
He's so good.
That Battle Royal. And, I'm watching this, last night, and I'm just like, all right, I'm vibing with it. It didn't make sense to me that all those people weren't in the Battle Royal, but the match itself is good. You know, big win for Kyle O'Reilly. I like Kyle O'Reilly. And then, John Moxley comes in and just cuts this awesome promo. Just, off the cuff, like he does. We haven't seen these in, a while.
It
was
ripped.
cool to get back to, a John Moxley promo.
Yep.
I could watch them all day. And
I don't like when people don't put him in the conversation of best promo in the business. I don't like it. I don't like when people bring up MJF ahead of him because they do two different things, but the thing that they both do is both great. Like, John Moxley needs to be in the conversation for best promo in the business.
Okay, so let's just cut to the chase. One, MJF, Moxley, who's better?
Moxley.
Two beer?
It's tough. They're different, and you know, they've both like cut promos of the year before. So I don't know. If you have to like give it to me, I would say probably MJF. I feel like he could just riff, even though some of it gets pretty similar.
I mean, they're both A pluses. The only reason I said Moxley is because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh well, it's a tie. They're both great. If you made,
I'm making you choose.
Murders.
If they had to do it all, if you said to either one of them, like they're at a wedding and they're like, hey, go out. You're like, go out there and cut a promo. I would take Moxley.
Okay.
I'd probably take Kingston over either of them.
That's a guy. Okay,
Yeah, we can talk about him too.
that's a guy that I thought could have been an outside dark horse to win this thing.
And he wasn't in it either.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep it going. Sorry, Zach.
No, yeah, you're good. So then we had a new championship. So again, like I had seen the belt on Friends of BFR, but I had avoided spoilers. So I knew there was a new belt, but it almost just seemed like a parody because we have so many belts already, and then we just did the Owen belt, and then they're like, here's a new belt. And I want to preface that by saying I don't hate it, especially the belt. The belt itself is like beautiful.
Oof.
But there's a lot of belts. And we find out that the Buddy Matthews versus Pac match is going to be a qualifier for this like 8-man tournament for this new All-Atlantic belt, which is essentially, I guess, an intercontinental belt with a more confusing name.
Yeah, well, just call it the Atlantic.
Japan is not in the Atlantic. China's not in the Atlantic. They're both like on the belt engraved, but not the geography podcast.
Japan's on the Pacific, but whatever. Do your thing, TK. Do your thing.
I mean, if you think about all the waters connected.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel like this could be something like, you know how belts can travel between, like, especially like Rev Pro and New Japan, and I feel like this is the belt that goes out. Like, it's not the belt that's necessarily defended on Dynamite or defended on the AEW pay-per-views. It's like defended on New Japan pay-per-views and in other countries. And like, if you want somebody to do that, I feel like out of everyone in the company, Pac might be your best choice because I mean he lives over there, he's stationed over there. Imagine Pac wrestling like Shingo Takagi for this belt. Like my fucking.
He's also
would need like.
He's also He's a great representative for the AEW brand. Like, he is a guy that goes out there and gives his all every time. He doesn't really change his character, whether or not he's face or heel. I'm always the guy that says, you know what, more belts. Tony Khan has really put that to the test. Because now,
We also bought a company with like.
Right, yeah, that's what I was getting. You stole my thunder, but go ahead.
I didn't get to say this last week because I wasn't on the show. But the fact that Britt Baker and Adam Cole are carrying around belts as the Owen Hart champions is pretty ridiculous. So what you have to think, now listen, this MJF stuff is proving that Tony Khan knows how to work the fans. I have to think that introducing more and more belts is just Tony Khan as a rich kid just having fun, trolling and working everybody, like more belts. Because at the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, which I did watch, I know I didn't get a chance to comment on it.
You said you didn't want to comment on it.
Everybody came out with a belt. Everybody had a belt. It seemed like everybody had a belt. And then they gave out belts. And then they come up the next week and they have a new belt This has to be a troll. It has to be a troll. It just has to be.
Pretty soon, Tony Khan's going to be seeing us. He's like, his Excalibur. See if he can work Chicken Fucker into the commentary tonight.
AEW just gave Cody Rhodes the ex-AEW belt.
Okay, I'll say this. I will agree with you to a certain extent that there are a lot of belts. I like to think of it as for me, I still think of it as ROH, even though they haven't got this relaunch going. ROH is still over here, even though you have.
That's just more belts.
I'm thinking of it as still two different companies. If it was one company, I would really, really jump on board. But there is representatives of two different companies. You have an ROH champion, you have the AEW champion. You have the ROH women's champion, you have the AEW women's champion. So it's two different companies.
Do you agree with me that Adam Cole should not be carrying around a belt?
Okay, so
he won the championship.
This is the only thing that I can say that
it's so stupid.
It's not stupid.
He doesn't even defend it.
You're not supposed to. But I think this is a piece of fuckery that's out there waiting to happen. See,
with the FTW belt, why is it even out there? And who has it?
Ricky Starks. Okay.
Ricky Starks sweating bullets. He's like, my belt ain't shit.
Okay. So.
I know why he's sweating. I was at Fish this weekend. I was sweating too at midnight.
Jesus Christ.
Doing balloons. Yeah. Ice cold fatties.
I think that this All-Atlantic Championship is like akin to, like you said, the Intercontinental Championship. Okay, fair enough. Part of me was thinking maybe they needed something, a secondary championship on the AEW side. Okay, I'm not talking about what all of the Tony Khan's playthings. I'm just talking about the AEW side of Tony Khan's playthings. You might want to get a second one going. Okay, so we have it. Now, from that point, I like the tournament. I like the Fatal 4-Way at the Forbidden Door for the title because we're going to be there. Shout out to High Five Tom. That being said, moving past that, I think how you book it is the question. If you're going to have this title going around from country to country, can a non-AEW champion or non-AEW wrestler win this title? Because that's now saying that you're allowing, say, someone from Rev Pro or
Noah
or New Japan, whatever the case may be. That might be the way where if you really wanted to start a global domination, that might be a way to do it. I get it. It's a lot of fucking titles ultimately, but just looking at it from AEW, their roster seems like it's still getting bigger and bigger, maybe with bigger names. So you might want to have a secondary championship for Powerhouse Hobbs to chase after or Swerve to chase after, whatever the case may be.
Hey, guys, I'm going to have to say this right here, and this is a little peek behind the curtain for the people that are listening. We're an hour into this, and we have a lot more to go. So I'm going to start. I'm not going to try to rush anybody.
Tom Brady's taking
I'll
over.
move on here.
Tom Brady's taking over.
I got to say, I just in my head canon believe that Kenny Omega made this belt specifically for Kota Ibushi, and that he just had it made. That's in my head canon, and it's like luring Ibushi.
I hope that's true.
Yep. So, without going into details, of course, Pac and Buddy Matthews was awesome. The Pac goes over. That was a fantastic TV match.
Match of the night.
Then Eddie Kingston has a match, or has a microphone. He has a promo, and he's super pissed. And his delivery is so perfect. And he's like Jake Hager's he just like whispers it. It's so good. And
they gave me a minute.
So
I don't need a minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you said, Eddie Kingston is absolutely up there as one of the best promos. And this is like so much fun. So like right now, the show is firing on all cylinders. And like we're qualifying things and saying there's it's not perfect, but like, dude, this is like an entertaining ass show. And
first hour
you get Eddie
right
Kingston
by.
in there. Yeah. And then you have like Trent Beretta in there, and you're like, I really like Trent Beretta, but I'm like, okay, this is the segment where it like slows down a little bit. I don't know what's going on here. Trent Beretta, his national best friend, Sam, like whatever. Oh, and then we get FTR, which is awesome. But then we get Will freaking Ospreay. It's like, you think the show's slowing down. You're like, okay, Trent Beretta, I like FTR. This is what have you. He's going to set something up. And then Will Ospreay, which, I mean, all of a sudden you're just thinking, like, what's he doing here? What's the match going to be? Like, I don't think it's going to be anything as cool as we could fantasy book, but it is very exciting to finally have him on AEW television because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So that was a pretty cool moment.
Totally agree. Loved it. I mean, I'm. It's disappointing that most of the crowd probably didn't know who he was or probably wasn't that familiar with him. There was a loud,
especially Aussie Open too, like you said, Aussie Open rules. But
there was a loud, there was a loud portion of the crowd that was saying, "This is awesome." But I mean,
it's the
growing
New Japan
pains.
No, that's the New Japan crowd that
right.
that knows Will Ospreay off jump, and then maybe even a smaller portion knows who Aussie Open is. For me, man, it was a lot to take in real quick. Will Ospreay comes out, and I was thinking it was going to be O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, but even better, Aussie Open and Hanare. Ultimately, my point is, if this momentum keeps going, you're going to have so many different guys coming in and out of AEW with this quote-unquote forbidden door.
For those that aren't familiar with Will Ospreay, to say he's one of the best wrestlers in the world doesn't really cut it. Like, he can have some of the best matches in the world and has had some of the best matches in the world in the last 2 years, 3 years, you know.
Also, he does it with any number of style. It doesn't matter. He doesn't seem not like that guy where he will wrestle that style. Like, Zack Sabre Jr. is amazing. He wrestles that style, and he's just absolutely amazing at it. And it makes him one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Will Ospreay
went
up to heavyweight, won the heavyweight title. I mean, it's so
Will
many
Ospreay
things about
that BOSJ match, and then also wrestle a high flying match,
right.
And then the next day wrestle a traditional 1970s like babyface versus heel match. Like, the dude, just unreal talented.
And I'll say this, and we can move on. I understand where people don't like Will Ospreay, and I get it. Okay, to me, it's like Floyd Mayweather. I don't necessarily like the person, but I can appreciate what Floyd Mayweather does in the ring the same way with Will Ospreay. Two beer, proceed.
Oh, right on. So I agree. Then we had Regal with Shivani, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole. Nothing really to say except Regal is awesome. And, I mean, Phil already said it about Kyle O'Reilly. So.
Well, I mean, never mind. Go ahead.
I'm not shitting on him. I love him. I'm not shitting on him. But, you know.
I don't think he needed to say anything more than what he needed to say, but go ahead.
Yeah. So then, again, you think, like, oh, David Finlay. I like David Finlay, very solid worker, not like a marquee name.
No.
But definitely been on American television, especially with Impact. So, you know, familiar face, third generation wrestler, all that. Then Adam Page. And then they put on like a really good, like, New Japan style match. Like, that was absolutely solid match. Really enjoyed it. And then Page, you know, starts his promo, which, you know, it is an explanation for not being in the Battle Royal, not necessarily having a title match, but I feel like this right after MJF just roasted Tony Khan, and then Page is the champion, and he carries the title for a very long time and has this great run, and then he's like, it doesn't seem like I'm getting a title match anytime soon. It seems like he's like painting AEW management, you know, in other words, Tony Khan, like, as a heel, just like MJF did the previous week. I just would have preferred him to be in the Battle Royal and or this match. But, yeah. He's now going to challenge Okada for the IWGP title, or maybe Jay White, as Adam Cole alluded to in the post-match promo when he interrupted Hangman. So, what do you guys think? I still think, even though I think Jay White and Page is a more intriguing match because of you can trace Hangman's current character, like all the way back to specifically Jay White, Hangman and Okada sounds legit amazing too. So if that gets into our Dominion predictions, we can maybe leave it.
Yeah, let's leave that for our Dominion predictions. But I do want to talk about Page versus Finlay, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Page brought up that he wasn't involved in the Battle Royal, which at least he's addressing it. At least they didn't let it go by and not have him address it. I would love to see Page Okada. I've probably seen it before. They probably did it
I think
at
maybe
a G1.
a G1, yeah.
They might have been in the same block, but I don't remember. That would have been...
Well, they had to be. There's no way otherwise they'd have been in the final.
That would have been my first... But if they ever fought before.
I'm pretty sure that Page and Okada was in a G1.
I would rather see Page Okada than Cole Okada. Who's a better wrestler, Page or Cole? In ring.
These days, I'd say Page.
I'd say Page too.
I would say Page too. Either or could I think could sell tickets if you're looking at it from the business perspective of it. Storyline, I guess it would kind of make more sense for Adam Page to get this shot first. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a triple threat. I really do. I don't know how they get there, but I don't think Adam Cole is sitting there at ringside without
New
having
Japan doesn't really do triple threats, though. I mean, they have
every
one.
Now and then.
They have one coming up at Dominion, which we'll get to. Either way, I would watch Okada fight a broomstick, obviously.
But I guess
I would rather see Okada versus Page.
My point is, and I guess this is what my point from earlier. Jay White is not getting enough, and I just said, Okada should win. I think Jay White doesn't get enough respect, especially if you watch New Japan. It's almost like Jay White is the Okada kryptonite. When push comes to shove, Jay White can beat Okada.
He certainly gets enough respect from this podcast. The question is, and this will bleed into our Dominion predictions, which we don't have to get into now, but the question is, who does New Japan want to represent New Japan at Forbidden Door as the champion?
Right.
And that's the real question,
right.
because that hangs a huge pall over Dominion. Not saying that's the end all be all, but
there's something to it.
What was next?
So real quick, the Heyman and Okada have faced in 2018 4.25 stars from the Wrestling Observer.
Was that G1?
G1, yeah. It was the main event of Night 5. So
that was my first G1.
Yeah, I was about to say that feels.
You
about
always
right.
remember your first. So
I almost said her first name. Not gonna do it.
Yeah,
not gonna do it.
I don't want to talk about that.
It was Tara.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That's a good joke.
What a dickhead.
The only better thing you could have said was my mom.
What's her name?
Dorothy.
No, I would never do that. No, she's a sweetheart. I've met her one time. She was great.
So then we have the Wardlow promo, which Wardlow and now MJF is like all of the rage, all of the talk. It completely destroyed Wardlow's momentum, and they're not really doing him any favors with that momentum right now. So it's either fight for the TNT title, which, at least he has some kind of logical reason that he's done it before, but it doesn't make sense that you would want that over the heavyweight title. And if you're an unstoppable force like Wardlow should be, why would you settle for less? And then it looks like now they're going to have him wrestle 20 dudes in an attempt to get, the TNT title shot or whatever. That's just what he's been doing for the last 3 months. He beat MJF. Like, MJF is mega protected. He has a great singles record that should catapult him beyond beating up Mark Sterling some more. Not thrilled with this.
I think there's really two parts with this, the Wardlow promo. The first part is the fact that, I agree with everybody. He addressed why he wasn't in the Battle Royal. Okay. Not a huge fan of it, but he, like you said, it's the elephant in the room. Why isn't he there? You're the number one contender, so you should be at least in this Battle Royal. Obviously, that didn't happen. He came out and said it, and then he was like, oh, but there's another title over here. Wait a minute. If you're going to sit here and talk about CM Punk, you're going to wait for CM Punk to come back, but you want to focus on the TNT title. That makes no sense at all. What he should have just said was, I'm focused on CM Punk. I'm going to wait for CM Punk to come back. When CM Punk comes back, or Jon Moxley wins or whatever, it should have just been about the title versus, okay, we're going to, pivot over here to the TNT title, which is hot garbage. Neither here nor there.
He even said the title had been diminished. And he wasn't wrong.
He's not wrong, but
it's not something you say.
It's not even that. I don't even care he said it. It's just how the promo came across, where it was all about the title. It was about how he wasn't in the Battle Royal, but I want this title now. Okay, no, that just sounds like a petulant little child. You know what I'm saying? I can't have this, but now I want that. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you're going to be about the title, then be about the title. Say you're going to wait for CM Punk. I'll wait for, if it takes 3 months, it takes 3 months. But I'm going to be here waiting for you and just leave it at that.
So this is something that I didn't get to say last week because I wasn't invited on the podcast because you had to have your two buddies on there.
Take it over, bitch.
But I did think that the MJF thing on Dynamite did take away from Wardlow's win. Maybe take a week off and then have MJF do it the next week. And I bet if Tony Khan had to do back, I bet he would do it differently. Because all of a sudden, the crowd wasn't as hot for Wardlow on Wednesday night as they should have been. And I hate saying it because
you're an AEW mark.
I think Kansas City's a good crowd, and because I think that he did have a lot of momentum, and the MJF thing kind of sucked the momentum from Wardlow. Wardlow destroyed MJF.
Yes.
At the pay-per-view.
Yes.
It was a glorified squash. It was 7 minutes and 30 seconds, but it was a squash.
I did bell for bell, brother. Don't you worry about that. I did bell for bell for you.
He did not, but MJF got no offense, which is not what you do to a guy that you want to someday have the belt.
Okay, so do you think that this was a punishment to MJF for not showing up on Saturday?
Oh, dude, this match was always going to be like that.
No, that was a work. That was a work.
Look, I have to ask the follow-up question, man.
This match was always going to be like that.
What, Wardlow versus MJF?
Wardlow versus MJF was always going to be that match since the day 3 years ago. He was going to powerbomb him 10 times.
I completely agree. So then, if you're going to have MJF make this big splash the next TV show, you have to push it back a week. Have MJF sell the match for a week and then come back this week and do it, because it did take away from Wardlow's win. Because Wardlow's...
That might be where reality bleeds into kayfabe, because maybe they were actually having problems and he couldn't guarantee that MJF would come next week, but he could get it this week. Who knows?
I had all sorts of stuff to say about MJF's promo last week, and I would have if Jason would have invited me on the show. But obviously...
TFTI.
I know, TFTI. Thanks. But it did take away from... I don't think there's any way around it. It took away from Wardlow's win.
I agree.
And now Wardlow, I don't know. He just didn't get the pop in Kansas City or in Independence that I thought he would do. Independence is probably the same as Kansas City. I don't give a fuck. It's on the west side of the state. I don't give a fuck about the fucking west side of the state. Fuck. Okay.
It's just weird that someone that is the number one ranked person, and I guess there's my second problem that I have with this, is that the rankings have kind of, bit Tony Khan in the ass on this one.
That's not the point.
He had to come back on social media and backtrack
Who?
on this shit. It's Tony Khan. If Wardlow's the number one guy, then why isn't Wardlow in the John Moxley spot?
That's what makes me think that it was supposed to be Wardlow versus CM Punk. CM Punk's first defense was supposed to be against Wardlow. And then Wardlow didn't take place in the thing because he says, I'm waiting for you, CM Punk, which is stupid, but we've seen stupider wrestling logic than that.
Agreed.
We certainly have.
This is babyface logic.
Yeah, it's babyface logic. I just think that the reaction that Wardlow got in Independence, Missouri was not the same that it would have been if they would have hit the ground running the week after Double or Nothing and wouldn't
Wednesday.
And instead have MJF suck all of the fucking energy out of the room with his promo, because all of a sudden you're focused on MJF again when he took the beating of a lifetime in kayfabe.
I agree that they should have kept him off TV, but
Maybe like 3 weeks.
A part of me would have always been like, okay, then what's up with MJF?
Like I said,
ultimately I agree with you.
If Tony Khan could have it back, I bet he would.
He might.
Speaking of reactions in Independence, Missouri, if anybody can send us pictures of any traditional media that AEW took out, like maybe they took out a billboard next to the Jesus Saves or Abortion is Murder or the local adult store billboards that are all along I-70 down there in that part of the state, I'd really like to see it. So,
yeah, we'd like to see it.
If you've never driven through that part of the country, it's a ride.
That part of the country is a fun ride.
I'll take your word for it, gentlemen.
Jesus saves, Jesus saves, Jesus saves, Jesus saves. Porn, 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 porn.
It's wild. It's wild. So, speaking of that part of the country, like I said, you guys, next week, I don't know if you guys are going, but Chapin's Arena, it's at my alma mater. I graduated college in that arena, 2009. So,
wait, whoa. Wait, stop. You graduated from, where was the graduation at?
I graduated from SLU at Chapin's Arena because that had just been built like the year before. So
is that right?
That's where the Billikens play. I'm a Billiken. I don't watch basketball. But,
okay, never mind.
I spent a lot of money to say it.
Okay, never mind. You pay the money. I'm going to step back.
I tripped mushrooms there 2 nights in a row to see
Jesus
Fish
Christ.
on the night that the Blues won the Stanley Cup.
I bartended that run every single day in between the Stanley Cup and that Fish concert. It was like one of the best bartending weeks I've ever had in my entire life.
I bet Fish fans are cool, man.
Okay, so
great.
as long as we're going to say where we were when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, I was at Jack Patrick's watching some guy climbing on the pole of 10th and Olive trying to take the sign down.
I would have killed him.
I know you would have. I'm glad you weren't there.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Tubular.
Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir.
No, real quick. Like I said, they booked a match. It was the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express versus the Hardy Boys in a ladder match, triple threat. Are you going?
No, I'm not.
Triple threat ladder match.
No, I'm going to the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I can't go to everything. Shout out to High Five Tom. He's making all my fucking wrestling checklist for 2020 and probably for the next 5 years go through. I can't go to everything. It's either one or the other.
I can't
Dynamite
go
goes
to anything for a full calendar year after I went to Fish, man.
Whatever.
No, I really can't.
It's a random it's like a random Wednesday night. You could probably get in for $25.
No, I can't.
For a triple threat ladder tag team.
It's
ladder
not
match
me, dude. It's the wife.
Right, I was getting
It's
ready to
not
say,
me.
have you met Aaron Beatty?
She's like, no. She's like, I'm going out. You're not going out again. I'll go out and drink by myself. I'm not. I can't go anywhere.
I'm just saying,
Trust me, I did.
Okay.
I did everything. I did everything this weekend.
I was getting ready to say, it took us too long to edit the first time around. We're not going to edit you the second time around.
I'm not asking for anybody to get assassinated.
Not this time.
It wasn't even assassinated.
This continues to feed into the Christian Cage heel turn though, because he keeps making more and more ridiculous matches. Obviously, Jungle Boy was
not happy. He's like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you talking?
I can't believe that they're putting Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy in a ladder match, because even though the Young Bucks pulled a great match out of them at Double or Nothing, they were not looking good.
That
And
was
now
not
they're
a great
going
match.
into a match.
Okay,
Like,
didn't talk about it. Did you think that Jeff Hardy was hurt? We'll start with Bill first. Go with Zach. Bill,
I don't
did you
think that Jeff Hardy was hurt. I just don't think that was his best match. Like, that match did not live up to my expectations.
well, he was definitely hurt. They pulled him off of the next show. They pulled him off of Dynamite. He was supposed to wrestle.
Okay.
On Dynamite.
That Young Bucks Hardy's match was not what you expected. It was not great.
Tubular, you're the Bucks guy.
It was fine.
What did you think about the match?
Oh, I mean, I thought they pulled out all the stops as far as, like, working with what they had. Like, I thought the Young Bucks really carried the
Did it feel
entire
like
thing,
did it feel like a handicap match to you?
Yeah. It
Okay.
was just like them pulling everything out. So the triple threat won't feel like that, especially with it being a ladder match, and you know they're going to do something very, very silly. But
I was going to say stupid, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But moving on, we did have the AEW Women's Championship match, Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir. I mean, Marina Shafir has way less charisma than Kyle O'Reilly, but I thought they didn't have a terrible match. I thought that technically, for Marina Shafir's kind of like maybe experience level, or from what I've seen, it was like pretty decent. Like, it was okay.
It was
wasn't
fine.
Great for that.
It was fine.
It could have been a lot worse. And then we had the banger main event, which we already talked about, Moxley and O'Reilly. I mean, nobody believed O'Reilly was winning, but they really just killed each other.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of each other.
It was like it was kind of like, I don't know if you saw Moxley versus Filthy Tom Lawler, but they did kind of this match, but instead they both bled like a lot. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was an average Dynamite as far as Dynamites go. From my perspective, I usually give Dynamites like a B+ to an A. I mean, this one was a C for me. It seemed just pretty okay.
Wow, I expected a little more.
That's the high bigotry of high expectations, I guess.
Okay,
because
fair
Buddy
enough.
Matthews versus Pac is something that you'd want to see. Like, that's a dream match. When
Brett
you
said
think
that last week.
When you think about both of them in that match on the pay-per-view, because I haven't got to talk about it, that match was probably the match of the night. Was the House of Black versus Death Triangle.
Tubier, what did you think it was the match of the night of Double or Nothing?
Oh man, that trios match was definitely up there. But
I didn't ask you that.
I think
Answer the
saying,
question.
as far as like, that's why I'm working it out. Like I think through talking and think through
Let
writing.
him work it out.
So just working it out. I still think even with, the couple botches, just like the feeling and like with the title change, I'd probably still say Paige Punk. Even though I didn't, it made me feel a lot of emotions because I didn't realize how badly I didn't want Adam Page to lose that title until it happened.
Yeah,
so I felt a lot of feelings. But as far as like just like fun match, it would have been that trios match, I bet.
So you're saying the trios match was the match of the night, or you like Punk versus Page better? Pick one, man.
I mean, if you put a gun in my head,
I'm putting a gun in you. Make a decision. I'm Denzel Washington. It's training day. Make a decision.
Training day. That's a good one. Yeah, I'd say Page Punk still. Yeah.
So I guess the crazy part about it is, because obviously we didn't really talk about this, I like the anarchy in the arena match, and the fact that I'm even saying that I like this match and to me was the match of the night is absolutely crazy.
It was amazing.
Okay, it's a complete 180.
It was amazing.
Of what?
I'm gonna make Bill real mad. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
You can say whatever you want about Anarchy in the Arena because it was awesome. From like them playing the music like halfway through. Like if they would have just kept playing Wild Thing through that thing, I think it probably would have been like a million stars. Right?
When Jericho finally hit Homeboy's head on it to stop it, it was
Yeah.
fucking unbelievable.
But I will say, so that match got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Newsletter. that Daddy Magic,
Oof.
the guy Bill hates in 2.0,
Oof.
has more 5-star matches than Kurt Angle.
What?
Kurt Angle's never had a 5-star match.
Oh, okay. This is Meltzer. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Hang on.
Daddy Magic.
you think that's gonna make me mad?
It's a good poke because
It makes me furious.
I was gonna say, we know how you love some Kurt Angle. That dude bled so quick. I looked over. I'm like, dude, he's missing a chunk out of his freaking head. What the fuck just happened? To me, it's one of the best matches I've seen all year long. I had low expectations, and it blew it out the water. I'll go that far.
All right, that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, everybody, we have
We skipped
tons.
right over the 2 and went to the 3.
No, you were the 2 count.
Oh, I thought you said that was going to be do it for our 3 count.
No,
I thought we were just you're like moving it along.
we're getting to the 3 count.
Let that man drive, man. Let him shut up, man.
Hey, for everybody that doesn't watch NJPW, you might as well turn off the podcast right now because the rest of the podcast is NJPW, except for the birthdays.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
But, maybe you guys might hear something that tickles your fancy. Maybe you might want to start
AEW is
watching.
going to be a part of this conversation, whether you like it or not.
Yes. So let's talk about the finale of the Best of Super Juniors, which was...
I'll let you guys go first. This is a week old for me.
Well, it was Friday, right?
I watched it that Friday afternoon.
It has not been talked about on the podcast.
Not at all.
So the finals was Hiromu Takahashi versus El Desperado in a 37-minute incredible match. Takahashi goes over, Hiromu goes over. I was a little disappointed in that. But did you think that Takahashi going over was kind of a subtle, not a dig at Despy, but it was kind of like, hey, yeah, you were a great pandemic champ, but now the big boy's back here, so now Hiromu's going to be the champion. What do you think, Jason?
I said
First of all, what you think of the match?
It's probably the second best match of the tournament. I still say that
Robbie Eagles
versus El Desperado, or I'm sorry, but versus ELP was the match of the tournament.
That was the match of the tournament. I didn't watch every single night, but
that's one you need to watch.
Yes.
Because it was just amazing on multiple levels. Okay, that being said, I said it to Brett on Brainbuster Boys because we were texting back and forth after the podcast and were you going to watch it? Yeah, you watch it? You watch it? Yeah, I'll watch it. To me, this is like the Okada Naito of the junior division, where we will call Desperado Naito and obviously Hiromu as Okada. Every time you think that this is the time that, in this case, Desperado feels like he's going to usurp Hiromu, he can't do it. The semifinal, I guess, for lack of a better term, the B block final where you had ELP versus Despy, and Despy beats ELP using his own move. A, that's crazy to begin with because you don't ever see it. And B, that's when I was like, okay, this is the time where I'm really thinking that Despy is going to be the guy. You have Hiromu who's going for history. You got Despy in the way. It's old rivals. I get that. It's chalk, but it's still all good. The match was great. I'll say it. As a LIJ guy, I was rooting for Despy at a certain point. I was disappointed that he lost. And I was just kind of like, well, damn. I get it. But this is what I felt like when Okada beats somebody that I like. In this case, it's Naito or ZSJ or somebody else. It's always good, but then ultimately Hiromu / Okada wins. It's kind of like, man, fuck. Great match, but
what you think about
the ace wins.
This is my boomer reaction to Jason's sentence, which is, now, I know it's Pride Month, but what's a ZSJ and what's it mean to be an LIJ guy? All right.
He's heating up.
So, the match ruled, but yeah, it is like Jason said. It's like, who are you going to rely on? Like, Desperado's awesome, but like you're entering into the American market with a new partner. Like they've already entered the American market multiple times. Like they're established like on cable. It's not like a great station or anything. They've sold out Madison Square Garden with their previous partner. They just sold out instantly with this. Who do you go with your as the ace of the division? You go with Hiromu Takahashi, whether it's the third time, the fourth time, the
seventh time, right?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, seventh time. But he's the guy. It doesn't matter how many times. Like Takahashi's your guy. He's that guy.
Now listen, I could praise this match as much as you could listen to a drunk guy praise this match. What I'm more interested in, and yes, this was a great tournament, and I got to see a lot of people. Hopefully, we see a lot more of El Lindemann. That was a guy that really impressed me. Who impressed you the most, if you're not including people that you knew? Like, who was a newcomer that impressed you the most?
El Lindemann, I had never seen him before. I've seen Alex Zane, obviously Ace Austin, a lot of other guys. Francisco Akira would probably be number 2, is the other guy that I had never seen that had good matches, didn't get a lot of points, but still had some good matches. And he and TJP won a match over Watto and somebody else. So I would assume they would probably have a juniors tag title match at some point coming down the line. But those are the two guys that El Lindemann is throwing guys around just
very
easily,
impressive.
one-legged throwing guys around.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the guy that I was like, I don't even know who he is. And the next thing you know, I'm like, what the fuck?
He's a cool wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He reminds me of
El
Alvaro.
Lindemann-
Who impressed you the most, Tuber?
El Lindemann 100% because I had seen Ace Austin. I'm a big Ace Austin fan. I think he's got a lot of potential. El Lindemann 100%. He reminds me, they're not similar wrestlers, but just in the same vein, like Takashita from, he was just in the AEW Casino Battle Royale. He wrestled Adam Page like a couple weeks ago. It was awesome. The dude's great, and I had never seen him before. He's in DDT. I don't have that subscription. Jason doesn't have a subscription, or maybe he does. But
Yes, I do, man. We talk about this all the time. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, so I'd never seen him before. So yeah, El Lindemann definitely impressed me out of all the BOSJ.
So ELP had a big pin the other night on the undercard of the Best of Super Juniors,
The final.
If there's a Super Junior that you could see sneaking his way into the G1, which is right around the corner, which, as you know, is the true WrestleMania. It's the true WrestleMania.
I always say it's a Super Bowl.
Do you think that we see Hiromu in there? Do you think we see ELP in there? Do you think we see Despy in there? Who do you think that we see in there if we see anybody?
Who do I want would probably be
because I know not to hope for like Bryan Danielson and Moxley, even though we did get Moxley one year.
Next year.
We got Moxley one year, and it fucking ruled.
And it was good. He got Shooter Umino over.
So could we get who are we looking for in the surprises in the G1 this year? And then we're going to do our Dominion picks.
If I had to take one guy from, it's probably going to have to be the AEW roster. Man, wow. Somebody that can come over and do something good. Swerve's doing some shit now. Miro's getting ready to do some shit now. It's goddamn. It's this roster's so fucking ridiculous. Danielson's obviously the one. Moxley's going to be jammed up.
I mean, honestly, I'd love to see Kyle O'Reilly.
He has New Japan ties. He's probably not going to do anything.
All right.
He could do a lot of
Jason doesn't
things.
have an answer.
No,
Zach,
I'll go with Kyle O'Reilly. That makes sense.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I don't think it will be like the junior heavyweight call-ups. Like you said,
We
for the
have
first part
seen
of the
juniors
question.
in the G1 before, though.
If it's one, I'll go with
Yeah.
Hiromu first.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I just think they are
Despy second.
actually more stacked
Over
because they
ELP?
have the options.
Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, they have the options of, American wrestlers because the restrictions have lightened up. They don't have to sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. So I don't see them doing any light heavyweights because they have this availability of just huge pool of AEW talent and even Impact talent and stuff. So maybe they'll do something similar to BOSJ where they have like one from each promotion. But honestly, I would expect more than a couple AEW guys, especially if they want to go over there. And that's what I'm most excited about. The names that would make me
They're
happiest.
coming over.
I'll put the over-under at 1.5, and I'll take the under. I think we'll get one AEW guy.
I'll take the over on that.
You think we're
I
getting
would take
two
the over.
AEW guys?
It's
I think there's a chance we get Joe.
Ooh.
Joe's one of the ones I was going to say.
As long as he's the ROH champion, I'm gonna say no.
Beretta.
That would make sense. Somebody that's not really doing anything,
Right.
that can come over,
Who can take a month and a half.
but has New Japan ties as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that it's not Trent Beretta going to win the block, but you can throw him in a scenario where it's him versus Naito, and they would have a good match. Him versus Okada would have a good match, whatever the case may be. He's not going to win. He's going to take some L's, but you can at least fill the block up with guys that New Japan fans have high ties to.
Cannot wait for the G1.
No, the A number one guy that I wanted to see in the G1 that's not Daniel Bryan is Claudio. That would just
Dude,
be
stop.
He's not an AEW
the
guy, though.
sweetest.
He doesn't have to
No,
be.
but that's the thing. It doesn't have to be.
Right. I agree. Okay. That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. We have 10 matches here. And listen, I don't want to hear a whole lot of conversation about
I'll just say names.
about these first
Yeah, I'll just give.
5 or so. Shit.
What'd you do?
Nothing. Did you hang up on me? Hey.
Yep,
Did you hang up on me?
I did. It was my fault.
You son of a fucking bitch.
See, okay, that makes me feel good about last week. You know,
All right.
my shit was towards the very, very end of the podcast where I nicked
All
the
right.
car.
This is all on the podcast.
I know.
So let's
That was
go,
on the
let's go
podcast,
through these
too.
ones quick. Okay, we got 6 or 9, which is Taguchi Master Wato versus Hiroshi Tenzan and versus United Empire, which is Hanare TJP and Francisco Akira in a 6-man tag match. Who you got?
United Empire.
UE Undisputed Era.
Me too. Okay, we got LIJ, which is Naito, Bushi, and Hiromu versus Bullet Club, which is Ishimori, ELP, and Ace Austin. So was Ace Austin in Bullet Club now?
Yes, he was. That was one of the big turns on the final BSOJ show.
I'm taking Bullet Club.
Ishimori's not defending the title?
Nope, not on this. No.
Okay.
Wait till you hear what the next match is, and then you'll wonder why he's not defending the title on the show.
Okay, just for LIJ purposes, because I rooted against Hiromu, I'll take LIJ.
Yeah, I know you will. Where are you taking, Zach?
British Columbia Bullet Club.
He said British Columbia.
All right, the next match, and there is no reason why this match should be happening. I don't even know if you've even heard about this match. There's nothing on the line. There's no stipulations. There's nothing.
Okay.
It's Doc Gallows. Do you know what this is, Zach?
No, I love the lead edge.
Doc Gallows versus Toriano
In a singles match?
in a singles match
Honestly,
at Dominion.
sounds amazing.
It's a number 3. There is no stipulations. There is nothing on the line. It's
That's just
Doc
semi-main
Gallows.
event.
It's Doc Gallows versus
Hey, man.
Tori
Hey,
Yano.
hey.
You know who I'm taking?
Hey,
Yano.
hey,
Who you taking?
hey. Don't ever say Yano at a main event in the same sense ever again in my
Oh,
life.
it's a semi-main event.
No,
Semi-main event.
okay, no.
This is my main event. Who you taking?
Jesus Christ. No, there's no slap on the line. I'm taking Doc Gallows. Fuck that. Fuck that.
It's not even for the KOPW.
Hashtag fuck Yano. I'm taking Doc Gallows all day, every day.
Who you got, Zach?
Hickory dickory six hickory doc.
Thank you. Come on this island with me over here. Don't leave me over here by myself.
All right, we have the House of Torture, which is Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, and Sho versus Suzuki-gun, which is Zack Sabre Jr., ELP, and Kanemaru for the 6-man never open weight.
God, you're going to make me say this. I'm taking House of Torture.
So am I.
Me too.
All
And they're
right.
the worst.
God, they're fucking horrible.
So we have next we have the Bullet Club for the tag team belts. We have the Bullet Club, which is Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens versus Grado Khan and Jeff Cobb, who I have heard called, and what I like to hear called, Khan and the Cobb.
I try not to no sell it. I tried. I hate it, but it's just it's so BFR. It's ridiculous. I'll go first.
I didn't make that up. I didn't make it up.
I didn't think
I
you
did
did.
not make it
I
up.
didn't think you did, but it was just it's silly enough. It's BFR-ish.
Khan and the Cobb.
Yeah, I'm taking Kyle on the Cobb on this. The run-in should lead to something else.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to take it, and I think they're going to feud with FTR for the Ring of Honor. What do you got, Zach?
Kyle versus Kyle, some shit like that.
Oh man, God, they killed me. My eyes are watering. Yeah, so definitely Khan on the Cobb and title versus title.
Khan on the Cobb.
They are about to say the sad part about it is we won't remember this next week, but this week it's gonna be Comedy Central. Yeah, we'll see.
It's like Bob Evans. Khan on the Cobb.
We have Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroku Goto. I will go first. I'll take Tanahashi.
Yeah. Way to go out on a limb on that one.
Who you got, Zach?
I got Khan on the Cobb for this one.
Who you got, Jason?
I was going to say it's Tanahashi, obviously.
Yeah, it's fine.
It should be a good match, though. Goto should bring the motherfucking ruckus. But
All
it
right,
should be
for
good.
the KOBW belt, this is a match that I do want to see. It's Shingo versus Taichi.
Have they named the step?
They have not named the stip.
Okay. I'll go first again because, as the biggest basher of the KOP title, I ain't going to call it a title. It's a little trophy. Somebody should be bashing somebody over the head with it, but neither here nor there. I'm going to still take Shingo, not even knowing what the step is. For whatever reason, Shingo is in this muck of the KOPW trophy. So be it. I think he still beats Taichi. I'd like to see Taichi get a push, but he's there with Taka and other guys that cheated on his wife, so he's going to take a little hit from time to time.
To be here, you got.
Yeah, it's hard to. The only reason I'm really interested in this match is, I like Taichi, but like Shingo, I love Shingo so much. He's like an unfortunate kind of character because he carried him through the pandemic also with like great work rate, but he's not the guy that they're going to take into America. So yeah, but I'm still going to vote for him. Like I'm still going to pick him.
All right, this is one that I'm generally interested to see what you guys say. I think that I know my answer, but I do want to hear what you guys say. I'll go to Zach first. We have the singles match for the Never Open Weight Championship. Tama Tonga is the champion, and he is facing Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Tama Tonga. I think he has a ton of upside. I think we haven't seen, even though Tama Tonga's been around for a long time, I think we have not seen everything we're going to see from Tama Tonga.
What do you think, Jason?
He stole my thunder. I I remember when the Tongans turned against the Bullet Club before AEW was even a thing, and I said, I'm pretty sure we had the podcast going. I thought Tama Tonga would be the next big thing. I'm going to stick to that, especially with Carl Anderson as the guy that's his opponent. Carl Anderson will put him over. I got Tama Tonga.
Tama Tonga has a pretty good run going right now. Ever since he got kicked out of the Bullet Club, he's had a good babyface run. Carl Anderson,
acknowledge me.
Carl Anderson is a guy that when he wants to turn it on, can turn it on.
Agreed.
But he definitely knows that he is a lifer, so he can take nights off. Sometimes he takes nights off. He doesn't really try very hard.
I think we all do.
So funny, they would be mad if they were booked in a match on Dynamite instead of a segment. They would try to get them to book them in segments so they didn't want to actually wrestle. They just want to get paid the same to do a segment. It's hilarious.
I think Carl Anderson is going to be motivated for this match, and I think that Carl Anderson could have a match at Forbidden Door as the never open weight champion. I'm taking Carl Anderson.
Dude,
Nice.
I tell you what, we talk about Goto and G1. Carl Anderson wrestled some really good G1.
I want to see that's
I
want to go back and watch.
Like 11 years ago, though. It was like 2011.
Shelton
though, right?
Benjamin was in the G1. Don't you want to go back and
Of course, yes.
I'm very curious to how
I'm
New
not
Japan's Shelton Benjamin looks.
I'm not
versus
fucking with you
WWE.
on that. Yes, I want to go back and watch all my faves, for sure. I'm going to go back and watch Brock Lesnar. I'm going to go back and watch Hulk Hogan. Let's see these motherfuckers,
As much as I don't want to say it.
All right.
We never finished our NXT rewind, but we should do something like that, dipping in.
Jesus Christ, come on.
It would be fun.
Maybe just stop talking about current wrestling for 5 minutes even. Yeah.
All right, so here we have our first triple threat match of the night. Juice Robinson, who is the champion, he's the United States heavyweight champion versus Sonata versus Will Ospreay in a triple threat match. I will go first. I'm going to take Sonata least to win because that dude is if a wrestler could ever just turn into like a nap. That's what Sonata is.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
I'll take Ospreay second, and I will take Juice Robinson, or I'll say his full name now, Rock Hard Juice Robinson. I'll take him as the most likely to win. Who wants to go next?
I will take the exact same thing, and I will say that
Talk shit about Sonata, please.
Sonata to a nap is appropriate because a nap is very fulfilling and it leaves you feeling real good. And Sonata does that,
motherfucker.
but it's also not terribly exciting.
He beat me on a technicality.
He said it's not terribly exciting, so you got what you want.
Yeah, but he said it was enjoyable.
I'm gonna go.
You look forward to it all day.
Yeah, I say the nap I had before I got over here was so amazing. I'm gonna go Will Ospreay least likely to win. I'll go Sonata 2. I'll go Juice Robinson to retain.
Everybody likes Juice.
A part of me really wants Sonata to win it, and I want to pick him to win it. New Japan is not like WWE. They'll take it off you on their first turn, so it wouldn't surprise me if Sonata wins, but a part of me thinks that Juice wins.
Okay, so for the main event, we have Okada versus Jay White for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I will go first. I thought about this a lot tonight. Like a lot. I had to go out to my parents' house to pick up the baby, and I had to drive the baby back. And I was just listening to music, and I was just thinking about Jay White versus Okada and how much sense it would make for them to put the belt on Jay White here. Because he's very enigmatic. It would be a good story for Okada. Okada, as good as his
United States ties now, it's not like you don't know who Jay White is.
But I can't pull the trigger because I'm a puss. And I'm going Okada because when Forbidden Door happens, they have to put their best foot forward, and Okada is their best wrestler.
I'll go next. I said it last week, and I would be a hypocrite if I said it differently this week. I agree with everything that you said. I love Jay White. I would love to see the upset just to see the apple cart turned over at the end of Dominion. But going over to the United States, you want to have your flagship guy leading my flagship promotion over into America for AEW Forbidden Door. So I'm going to take Okada.
Zach, do it.
This makes me madder than Bill, but I agree 100%. And this is just terrible, Todd. It's the worst.
Who do you agree with?
I agree with both of you guys.
Yeah, but who do you agree with more?
You, motherfucker, you said it first.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. All right. Why are you taking Okada, Zach?
He's that guy, man. I mean, Jay White can be that guy. And even it's like you're in a win-win situation. Like,
Right.
you booked a match where it's win-win. If something happens, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you have a Kota Ibushi-Okada situation where somebody gets injured in that match and somebody just has to take the win, it doesn't matter. You're winning either way.
Tanahashi
You're in a great
stepped
position.
in, and we had a good Tanahashi-Okada match. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just say you have Jay White upset Okada, and I'll put upset in quotes, and then you have White versus John Moxley. I think that would be a good match. If, God forbid, I won't even say God forbid, if you had Goto beat Tanahashi.
Ain't nothing wrong with Goto.
It's all
Ain't nothing
good.
wrong. Yeah,
It's
that's
all
what I'm saying.
good.
Ultimately, you're gonna have a good match at Forbidden Door. It's just different levels. In this scenario, I just really think it would be a pleasant surprise because I love Jay White but I really think Okada wins. Hell, I got a Jay White shirt. You know, I paid money to that motherfucker.
See, Jay White is, like, people talk about MJF being the best heel in the business because he just does very clever promos.
Jay White, promo
Really,
of the year.
Jay White gives him run for his money because he's amazing at promos,
Yes.
and
Yes,
he's,
sir.
like, so good in the ring.
This is banned
So
from
good.
ringside.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was
No,
trying to
perfect.
time it. I was trying to time it.
No, I was about to say, wrap it
Zach,
up, motherfucker.
Zach, finish your shit again. We'll edit it.
See what you
This
did?
is banned
See
from
what you did?
ringside.
Why'd you talk over it again? Hold on a second. One.
No, it's perfect. You don't have to have it. No, it's good stuff.
No, I'm not gonna edit. We're all good.
This
Like
is
there's
banned from ringside.
okay, everybody. We get some birthdays this week. We have superstar Billy Graham, would have been 79. He's dead. Howard Finkel, the Fink,
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
72. He would have been. Mick Foley, 57.
Another guy that
Now,
wrestled.
this thing says Tatanka is 57. That's impossible, right? Tatanka's not the same age as Mick Foley, right? That seems impossible.
I would venture to say no. That doesn't make sense, but
All right, we got a
you
bunch
did
of
the math.
we got a bunch of the ladies here. Liv Morgan is 28. Ty
up,
Conti is 27. Deanna
Hello,
Parazzo is
ladies.
28.
Oof.
Hikaru Shida is 34. Then
Lord have mercy.
we let's pivot back to the guys. Hey,
Man.
take it easy.
Look, I'm single, man. Fuck you.
You remember Dan Severn?
I do. UFC.
64.
NWA.
Mark Henry. I got plenty left in the tank.
You stole my thunder, you
He's
son of a bitch.
51. You remember Jerry Lynn?
I do remember Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
AWE.
Jared Lynn probably makes less money than Mark Henry in AEW, and that's a shame.
Jerry Lynn had a string of great matches with RVD.
TNA, the whole nine.
Well, ECW.
I didn't watch ECW, man.
And Virgil is 60.
Cushiest job in the business.
Did you guys see Apollo
I think
Crews
he
on
has a
NXT
GoFundMe
this
right
week?
now.
I
actually,
did
so
see
maybe he'll
Apollo
donate.
Crews on
Apollo
NXT.
Crews is NXT this week.
Ugh.
Hey, for Murray the Man Murray, for
Check.
Patriot Pat,
Check.
for Tender Mahal,
Check.
for Vice,
Check.
for my wife, for my dog, for my baby, for Zach's babies, for Jason's
Check,
babies.
check, 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 check. Yes, Billy and Lucifer, I'll be home in a little bit to feed you.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Boo the heels.
Always.
Defund the police.
Wow,
For
we going
Jason
there?
Cornelius Bell. For
Check.
2 Beer Zach Pullman. I am Bill
Double check.
Veggie. And everybody, never ever forget to boo the heels.
Ooh, I love you, Reva.